Okay. Rolling down the street in my 6'4". Let's
get it.
You know what? You start off with a song.
What you want?
Whatever.
Well,
stuck in LA traffic.
No. The worst part, I left LA thinking that the traffic would be better in Florida. I really enjoy the traffic in Florida. I enjoy it. We get on the highway to come down to your first off.
You know what? Hold on.
Your studios are fantastic.
Let's just go ahead and.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good all that stuff. Everybody out there tuned in to Larry Love and Patrick Jara. Politicking, you know, it's been a long time.
Seems like it.
It's been a long time. But today's guests, we have all the way from the West Coast, where they do the most, where they love the boast. You know, y'all love the boast.
We chill.
So, you know, I'm not from New York, so it's not the East versus the West.
Okay,
you know,
it's true.
But y'all showed me a lot of love when I went out there years ago, and I appreciate that. I had a chance to meet some good people. And this gentleman that I first met him at Mar-a-Lago. It's like real recognized real.
True story.
You know, you can see through all the suits and everything else. And we talked, we chopped it up, traded each other information, and we just became one with another one. You know, I go out there, his other half showed me a lot of love. His kids called me on, and it's just fun.
Every day they do.
This guy, he works hard. He worked on a campaign with a gentleman who ran against Maxine Waters with Joe Collins.
Waters.
Yeah, you love Maxine Waters. Yeah, okay.
Big fan.
Your hairstyle is similar.
Despite they lost, but they did make a little dent. They had a lot more registered Republicans. This gentleman also, he was a hell of a basketball player, which I told him I would give him the business.
Patrick,
but
don't let him get himself in trouble.
You know, he had a chance to play for the great
for this gentleman,
Bobby Knight, though. So I knew he had to be able to play ball if he could play for Bobby Knight. So I wasn't on that level. So I kind of like, I might bite off more than I can chew. This guy, he got a love for the politics. He got a love for policy. He's a good brother, good man, good father. He's everything. He owns several businesses, and it's a pleasure to have him in our studio. No further ado than the great Robert Foster.
I appreciate
and
y'all.
A great intro. Before we get into that, speaking of business, let's pay some
We
bills
gotta pay some
real
bills,
quick.
man.
We
Gotta
wanna
pay
gi-
some bills.
We want to give a shout out to Salon Synergy, Eric and Anita Carter, Martin Law Firm, divorce law firm, serving Collier, Lee, and Tampa. Clinics and Nuviva Weight Loss. Big shout out to Jeff Delaney. He's going to come on our live show that we're doing on Monday from the Legends. DTA Naples, Petra, top designer of closets in all of Naples. Lee Corp Homes, largest manufacturer of pre-carriage homes in all of Florida. Our guy, Matt Goodwin, Goodwin Law. Big shout out to Matt.
What up, Matt?
Real Estate Trust, Probe. Go see Matt. Our guy, Don Art Studio, who did the infamous Death Row picture. What you know about that?
I actually need the original signed. You guys will have to sign that for me.
Okay.
A lot of people have been asking about that.
We're going to have the...
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking for that.
They ask. I'm just going to walk over as soon as this is over. I'm just going to take it off the wall, put it on the table, and have my guys.
That's the only one right now. We're working on getting them in.
We're working on getting them because we're in a couple more, and then Blake's going to be here in a little bit, so you can
That's
get 3/4 of the people signed. We actually have the painting coming out for the Studio 239 grand opening party, April 17th, and Miss Soon's going to do a full-size painting of the picture. And then the next one, we got a shoot set up, too, for another famous album cover.
I love that. So, okay.
Can't
being
wait
innovative and creative. I love it.
Try to be.
I love it.
Yeah. And speaking of Blake Becker, Becker Custom Builders, top luxury home remodeler in all of Southwest Florida.
What's
got
up,
a chance
Blake?
to follow Blake the other day on 5 different projects. He's got a lot going on all across Naples and Marco Island, and he's doing a project in Cape Coral as well. And then, of course, Miss Tina Del Rosa, Tina D Agency. If you haven't done your taxes, make sure you do them now. Tina's the girl to go see. Great staff.
Nice.
And also insurance. And then we also want to give a shout out to one of our newest sponsors, Naples City Lifestyle Magazine. Great magazine, comes out monthly. They throw great launch parties, and we're doing the after-hour exclusive podcast. And we got some breaking news we can announce on the show today. It has been confirmed. None other than Larry Love will be on the September
on the cover
fashion issue.
I got it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. For the fashion?
The fashion issue.
Okay. Now I understand why they
picked.
Hold
that magazine up, Larry, and real quick, tell them.
I love it.
How is Larry Love going to be?
We got to hear this.
Dapper for sure. But
yeah. September issue, y'all stay tuned. I'm going to try to put 5 photos in there. You know, everything from business attire, casual, sports, everything from the hat to the shoes to the watches to the necklace. Okay. So, you know, I love fashion is my thing. I love it. It's a drug to me. I'm very addictive to clothing. And I just love to look good. You look good, you work good, you smell good, and you also act good.
True story.
And that's just me. So be tuned in for September.
True story.
Naples City
and we're going to have a lunch. We're going to have like a little gathering, lunch party for the We're trying to find a place right now that can probably host it. But the thing about it is, you can't come in any type of way. You got to come in debonair. You got to be fresh to death. Like men, you got to dress like real men. Women, dress like real women. Like, you got to be looking like somebody.
I love that.
Naples City Lifestyle Magazine. Big shout out to Greg.
Yeah, Greg, what's up?
September
Appreciate
fashion
that
issue. And the location that they're working on is pretty pretty top notch. So
it got to be. You know, I'm bringing them out.
It's the city.
I'm bringing them out. So, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Aldous.
And Aldous Diner.
Aldous Diner.
You know, I know Larry has a...
Wait, where's it located?
Right up the street.
I'm going right after we get done. I'm going to check it out.
You got to get the Larry's Plate, Country Fried
Steak. They got a meal named after
they have Byron Donalds, Governor DeSantis, all kinds of people.
And they have to have a Patrick Plate too.
Maybe that's coming.
And a Larry Plate.
They got a Larry Plate.
Oh, my plate is the plate.
They got a Larry.
What is it?
Country Fried Steak, 2 sides, mashed potatoes and a veggie.
You can get any 2 sides.
Yeah, you can get any 2 sides, but that's my thing.
The Country Fried Steak is really good. Aldous does a tremendous job.
$14.99.
$14?
$15.
I got to move to Florida right now.
Man, you know, this is not LA. Y'all put a tax on that. By the time they finish taxing, that'll be probably about $27.
Easy.
Yeah.
You know.
The Larry Love plate in the LA would probably be like $32, yeah.
Because I think mine probably the second most expensive plate.
Country Fried Steak and 2 sides.
Yeah. With the gravy and all that good stuff.
Big plate.
You got to go check
this out. It's got Larry Love's name on it. You know, it's going to be a big plate.
I got to go check this out.
We done finished paying these bills. Like I always bring in my guests. Robert Foster.
Yes, sir.
Who are you?
Well, first, it's a pleasure to be here. Larry, Patrick, the show is fantastic. Your studio is amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
My name is Robert Foster. I had the privilege of being able to come down to Florida today, and it's been fantastic to be able to be here. I appreciate you guys bringing me in. Los Angeles, California is my native, where I'm born and raised, but I had the experience and opportunity to be outside the country for 15 years. Mm-hmm. I was in Italy for a year, Greece for 10 years, Nigeria for 2, Romania for 2. So I had the privilege of experiencing culture. Coming back into the country, 2018, I had the ability to indulge in certain things. So I had an eye-opening, awakening experience. And it was going back to Los Angeles, a city that I grew up in, and seeing a city that was in plight and struggle. And that's how we're sitting here today talking about all the things we're going to speak about, so I'm not jumping into anything else.
But yeah, talk to us about growing up.
Growing up, you know, during that time, I'm, of course, very familiar with growing up in that crack epidemic.
Okay.
I know what it was like in L.A. We really didn't know what it was like growing up in L.A. We'll see stuff on the news. Okay. We'll hear about the gangs. That's all we hear about, the Bloods and the Crips. Right. But then, fast forward to 91, 92, the Rodney King.
Yes.
And then the music dropped. We didn't know about the police brutality and everything else was going on out there like that. You know, again, we far. There's no internet. There's still no www.
Exactly.
So, like, being able to grow up in those environments, because, man, I know that was the true survival of the fittest. Certain colors, certain neighborhoods, and you got to stay on this side of the street, whatever. Like, go into detail. Like, and what made you still be able to be focused to not go down that road where you got so jammed up? Because I know I got jammed up as a youngster at 14. And
wow.
So, and I know you was a great athlete. So what kept you on that straight and narrow?
It was really this, Patrick and Larry. It was growing up in the city, you see the effects of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I said that. The effects is this. You have individuals around you. My mother actually did not cry until I turned 25 years old.
You survived to be 25.
Statistically, 18 to 25 in L.A., 50% were either dead or in jail.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
50% of the people were either dead or in jail. So let's take it back to 14 years old. If I didn't have a father and a mother in the home, I may have a different result. Now, I still went out and had my friends and my surroundings and my neighborhood, okay? I still indulged in that, and they understand who I'm speaking to when I say that.
Yeah.
Okay? So I still have my neighborhood, but the thing that kept me away from it was sports. The thing that kept me away from it was having the ability to see other successful men. I grew up on the west side until I was 12, 13 years old, till I moved to Crenshaw and King.
Mm-hmm.
So in my neighborhood, we had Chris Mills, we had Sean Higgins, we had Tina Thompson.
Kevin Ollie.
Wait a minute, how you know about?
You know Rodney Palmer?
Hold on. Is Patrick following me? Is my phone tapped? KO is my guy.
Yeah.
Rodney
It's
Palmer's
tapped.
my guy too.
You're kidding me.
Oh, that's my boy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when he coached at Centennial High School
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
coached at Compton High.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, man. If you're going to call him, we can get on FaceTime with him.
Okay.
So, those are the things that keep you away from getting incarcerated. And now I'll tell you the biggest thing for me that kept me from getting any cases. I had one uncle who was a police officer. So every and any time I would get caught doing something, he was my lifeline. Literally, he caught me one time and he was looking at me. He goes, I could put you inside for about 30 years. And I looked at him, I said, well, you have a choice. He said, what I'm going to do is tell your mom and dad. Otherwise, we would not be having this conversation.
I know all about it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And arbitrarily, what happened at the end of that day, it was like an eye-waking experience for me. It woke me up. It jolted me. And I said, if he's not around and it's someone else, because everything was different then. You hit it on the nail on the head, Larry. You said there was a crack epidemic. And in that epidemic, there were sides, okay? There was LAPD.
Mm-hmm.
There was the sheriff. And you know how big you've been to LA. We got
Crash unit.
We got to bring Patrick out to LA, okay? You're going to come with me.
Okay.
So the other side.
I've been out to LA.
I know.
You ain't been to LA.
No. He's been.
You ain't been to
you gotta come
LA.
with- You got to come with me.
Okay. I'll take you up on the invite.
And this is what you'll understand. You have LAPD.
Mm-hmm.
You have the sheriff department. But inside of LA, because it's so big, you have Culver City PD.
Compton PD, which
Compton
were
PD.
very crooked.
Hawthorne PD. You have a bunch of PDs inside that want respect in their neighborhoods. So when you drive in those neighborhoods, you may be doing 30, but still get pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to know who you are, why you're there. At that time, you really wouldn't drive through Beverly Hills just for lollygagging and for fun. You're going to go there for a purpose because they will pull you over and flat out ask you, so what are you here for?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to give them an answer, or they will put you inside of that vehicle with handcuffs on you, or they will take you right back to the line and go, it's great seeing you today, but come back with the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced that. And then
I heard about it.
Oh, you.
Or they drop you off in the opposing neighborhood.
Now, what happens with that is this. See, most of us think it's Crips and it's Bloods. It's blue and it's red. People don't realize there's other colors.
Mm-hmm.
When you will wear all tan, you repping red. When you wear all gray, you're repping blue. Got it? So it depends. And now you got, in Watts, you have purple, which is Grape Streets.
Yeah.
You have the arch nemesis enemy of one neighborhood, which is, they call it the rolling neighborhoods, which is 20s, 40s,
20s and 60s,
okay, 60s to the hundreds. Now, all of that, their nemesis, their arch enemy is orange, which is the Hoovers. So when you understand all of that, you're like, so what color can I wear? Well, wear something at your own risk.
Yeah.
And that, for the crack epidemic, gentlemen, the crack epidemic, it hit the culture of the inner cities. But do you know what was really the crazy part? This is the biggest thing that most people don't take time to look at.
Mm-hmm.
It hit the inner city, but it hit the money portion of the city the heaviest, because crack was cheap, but someone had to sell it. So the wealthy son was selling it to the So he may go to jail because this guy snitches on him. So you understand that it was a bunch that went on during that time.
Did you watch Snowfall?
Say it again.
Did you watch Snowfall?
Maybe.
The
one that, you know what I enjoyed most? Because I don't really watch a lot of TV. I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I don't either, but that's one show I was glued into. They did a good job.
Did you watch Narcos Mexico?
Of course.
Did you watch, there's two men in there, Jamie Rodriguez and Miguel Rodriguez?
Yeah.
From Colombia?
Yeah. The Cali cartel.
Yeah.
Okay. Say less.
So tell us about where you went to college at.
Well, I left Los Angeles. I can say.
And what
this,
year did you graduate from?
19. You trying to call me old man?
Not at all.
Did you see
I'm
how
just
you
trying
to?
Yeah. That's what he's doing.
Everyone is watching.
Into the time he graduated based on athletes, popular culture.
Okay. Well, let's put it this way. In 1993, when I graduated in that year, it is considered the greatest basketball year in high school basketball history.
In California and L.A.
Throughout the country.
1993. We're gonna.
You can Google it.
I'm gonna call.
I don't know.
Dick Cap on that.
Dick Vitale said the class of 1993 was the greatest high school basketball class in history. To this day, he still says it. Now let me tell you what it was.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because
you had so
95 and 96 was pretty good.
6
too.
was it.
You had
96 was
96. You had Kobe. You had AI.
Yeah.
You had some killers.
Ray Allen.
No, Ray Allen already graduated college by then. Ray Allen was like 91.
Oh, Ray was 92. Ray was 91, 92. Because he went to Connecticut.
I know he
but he lost,
1994.
so we couldn't play. Okay. Yeah, he went to UConn.
So did Kevin Hart.
KO didn't want that problem. You can tell him I said it. That was my guy, but he didn't want the problems. That's my guy. So in 93 when I finished.
And who was the guys?
Okay. Our year?
Yeah.
You want me to go down the list? From Jerry Stackhouse to Rasheed Wallace.
That was
that's that year?
Yeah, that
to Marcus Camby.
I didn't know that was 93.
Marcus Camby wasn't a highly rated high school athlete.
Okay. We will make sure, I really want you to make sure that this video.
Philippe was in that class too.
94.
Oh, I thought
I'm going to give you guys a story. Now,
this was supposed to be the best one.
You're going to laugh because I'm going to give you stories that only you will have the exclusivity to. Are you ready? We will make sure that Marcus Camby gets this video. It's a deal?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay. Marcus Camby, we went my senior year. I was junior to senior year. I went to ABCD, which was in Irvine that year. Yeah. Sonny Vaccaro put it together. Shouts out to Sonny Vaccaro, the greatest of all time. He and his wife are fantastic people. So he invites me to ABCD. I'm rated 150th at that time in hoop scoop. So I'm like, I had a hit list. I'm like, every guy that's above me, I'm going to destroy at this camp. This is my coming out. I'm ready. Let's do it. Bring whoever you want in front of me. Let's do it. So they put the teams together. My team was myself, Todd Bergeson, went to Syracuse, Ronnie Henderson, who was the number one shooting guard over Felipe, that went to LSU from Mississippi, Marcus Camby, Omar Gibbons, Shea Sills, Chris Crawford. One second.
Wait a minute. How come the teams are so they didn't do the AAU teams yet back then?
No. See, this is the difference, Patrick, Larry. Today, the camps and stuff that you go to in the AAU teams are specific teams from specific cities. ABCD and Nike, those camps it was a bunch of guys that come together collectively for a week. Excuse me. They come together for a week and they put the team together. They pick the team and then you have to play with these guys. Okay. Marcus Camby came in, and Marcus, I have to tell you this. I've told this story across the world because you made it to the NBA and I was so proud of you. Marcus Camby comes in. Do you remember the old volleyball knee pads, the real thick ones?
Yeah.
Okay. And he had on the old bike shorts. So Marcus is 6'10", 6'11", with some volleyball knee pads on. So Ronnie and I are looking at him like, I'm an LA guy. You know, you like the style and the flash, and I love it because that's you. So we're like, bro, what's wrong with this guy? He's in warm-ups. And, you take one dribble, we're warming up. Ronnie's doing windmills. Todd Bergeson was a killer at Syracuse. That's when they won the championship that year with Todd as a senior. He's a killer. We have killers on our team. Shea Sills is unknown, really.
Shea Sills, yeah. UCLA did Shea Sills?
Tulsa. Ended up getting drafted by the Lakers.
Okay.
Right? We had 10 pros on our team, which the camp didn't understand that they would eventually be pros. So Marcus Camby's going to the basket. Now, you guys are going to laugh, okay? You remember how Luau Sindor would jump and lay the ball in the basket with two hands like this? Marcus Camby's doing this in warm-ups. So we're looking like, okay, he's just joking around. We get in the game, we dump it down to him. He will break a guy down, jump, and lay the ball over the rim. So we look at each other, and Ronnie and I are like, man, what's wrong with this dude? Why don't he dunk the ball? Well, in the state of Massachusetts at that time, they had a state law that you could not dunk in the game. It was still in effect in 1993.
Well, he's from Connecticut, though.
Yes, exactly. But, in Connecticut, that was the state law. In high school basketball, you couldn't dunk and hold on the rim. You would get a tech automatically. So, halftime of the game, we played some weak team, and we knew we could beat them. And Marcus was missing layups. Ronnie Henderson and I grab him at halftime. You know, as a point guard, you have to be a leader. So we grab him. I pin him up against the wall.
You're a point guard.
6'4" point.
I know you don't want that smoke with Tito Maddox, though.
Tito Maddox.
Yeah, Compton High. He would have been big, but he just couldn't stay out of trouble.
I know who you're talking about.
Rodney coached him at Compton.
What year was Tito?
Tito was like 98, 99. He went to Fresno State.
Yes.
Averaged like 15 points and 8 assists in
Yes.
22 minutes, but he ended up getting kicked off the team.
Yep, because Tark wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
If Tark was there, he would have kept him in line.
Sorry to cut you off.
But Tito didn't want that problem either.
Okay.
This
Tito was a killer on the court.
He was, but he didn't want those problems.
Okay.
Because see, the thing is, let me tell you, in my basketball days, and I really don't talk basketball. I try not to.
Yeah.
I promise you, Pat.
We digress.
And you, because you went there. The key thing in basketball is this, and my father taught me this when I was a child. Robert, you're going to be able to score the ball, but if you can stop him from scoring, you can stop him. If he doesn't score, it's over. So when I would get on the court, I would literally not want to let you score. KO was like that. Kevin Ali was like that. Jacques Vaughn was like that. A lot of the West Coast point guards.
That's how Tito's style was too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't score, I'm looking over at your side. I'm talking to your mom, your dad, your cousin. I'm like, you know he's still at 0 points. And they looking in the stat sheet going, hey, baby, you ain't score. Now I know I've got control of you because you're going to try to score on me now because mom is telling you, but that means I'm going to force you to a bad shot.
Who's the greatest high school L.A. basketball player of all time, in your opinion?
Wow. Come on. Are you trying to get me in trouble?
No.
You want me not to be able to go back to L.A. and visit home?
Hey, there can only be one. I mean, you could throw out a couple. Paul Pierce definitely comes to mind.
I call Baron Davis.
Baron Davis, Santa Monica, Fairfax High School.
Crossroads.
I'm sorry, Crossroads. You're Fairfax,
Yes.
Crossroads.
No, don't worry. If he would have went to Fax, he would have went further. And I said it. I said it, BD.
And
I said it.
Paul Pierce from Inglewood.
Can I share with you something? The greatest high school player never played in the NBA.
Who's that?
Raymond Lewis. You'll have to Google him.
Okay.
I literally played against this man, and he was 55 years old. And I was a high school All-American college player at that time. You literally couldn't stop him.
Wow.
At the Drew League, he averaged 55 points a game.
What high school?
Oh, God, where did Raymond go? I don't want to lie to you. I'll pull it up for you. But Raymond Lewis, like, he was 6'6". He could do everything. He was a point forward. He could do everything. John Staggers, that went to Crenshaw. That Crenshaw team in 1985 was so good. They beat all the California teams. They didn't lose in California. They played against Louisiana's champion. They literally took a world tour and even toured and beat teams from Spain, their junior national teams, like the 1600. This team, they have a banner in their gym. They were 135-1.
I had to do.
I don't think that Crenshaw team of 85 could have beat that Crenshaw team of 93.
Yes, they could.
With
Kriston Johnson?
With Tremaine Folks.
What you know about Trey Folks?
Pepperdine.
What you know about this? Now I'm in the right place. You
the
take my
guard-
coat off so I can get comfortable in here.
Guard Tommy Davis, who's supposed to went to Duke.
You know, I just talked to Tommy.
Listen,
I just
because
talked to
let
him.
me tell you, they was beating everybody by 25, 30 points.
Except us.
I don't know nothing about that.
We lost by 1.
Okay, but everybody else, even when they came to the City of Palms, they
City of Palms.
they was swept the City of
They
Palms.
did.
City of
But their
Palms.
team was this. They had Kriston Johnson.
Uh-huh.
They had Tremaine Folks.
I love Folks game.
Tommy Davis.
Tommy Davis.
Rico. Shouts out to Rico. He got a clothing line now. We may get him to sponsor your show. Rico has a clothing line. their starting five was solid.
Yeah.
Right? But the team that was better than the 93 team was a 92 team. That's who knocked me out to go to the city championship.
Okay.
Was Crenshaw High. So
when you went to college, it's a guy I played against here. He played for Bobby Knight, Gene Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who was from here that I recruited to go to UCLA? To go to Indiana?
Oh.
Charlie Miller. Charlie will tell you the reason that he went to IU was Robert Foster, Andre Patterson, Charlie Miller, and Neil Reed.
Oh, hell.
And are we boring
I was
you?
their host.
So, what it was like being up on the Bobby Knight?
The greatest experience that you would never want to do again.
Interesting. Say that again.
The greatest experience in basketball that you would never want to do again.
It's playing for Bob Knight.
Yes.
It's something that
Bob is the best X and O coach in the history of basketball. And I will put him against Krzyzewski, Dean Smith, John Wooden. I will put him against any one of those coaches. In the last second, if you need to call up a play, Bobby.
Interesting,
you
because
know the triangle offense?
Of course.
That's what you were running at Indiana.
Yeah.
But it wasn't called a triangle.
Right.
I mean,
because that's interesting, because I'm not going to argue with you because you played for Bob Knight and I didn't, but I would consider Coach Knight more of a motivator than an X's and O's guy.
His motivation was to tear you down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I can tell you the story, and it goes back to the crack epidemic. When Coach Knight came to see me at my home, he couldn't get to my home because my neighborhood, Coach Knight did something that Larry did right. Coach Knight came with a red Indiana jacket, and he was in a red Buick. And he tried to go down the street, and they blocked him and said, no, you can't come down this way, and told him to go back. So he literally had to call my home from a payphone and say, hey, I can't get there. And I was like, Coach, where are you? He was like, I'm on Crenshaw and Adams. And I sent some of my friends down, and they were like, and it was the guys from our neighborhood telling me he can't come. And they said, man, do you know who this is? The guy's like, I've seen him before.
Yeah.
They were like, that's Bobby Knight. He's going to see Robert. Then those same guys that blocked him escorted him down the street to come to the house. But now watch this.
Picture.
He never forgot that. So he treated me differently than what he treated Neil Reed and other players on the team. So when he would become aggressive, like his normal Coach Knight demeanor, he's done some crazy stuff in practice, which I can tell you guys the story. We'll talk about that. But his demeanor towards me was never demeaning. Like, he would speak to you a certain way. But my mother, I'll say it again, my mother and father raised me. When a man is speaking, you look him dead in the eye.
and you listen.
And you
Maybe some of those guys that got choked and slapped,
But
didn't
Neil
get
got-
raised that way, and
Neil
didn't
Reed?
show the proper respect. And,
Exactly.
So
Neil Reed, the young man that he choked.
yeah.
You know, he died young. He never recovered from that. He died at, I think, 38 or 39.
Really?
Yeah, Neil Reed
didn't
is
know that.
deceased. Shouts out to the Reed family.
A statistic, but I didn't know about Bobby Knight. Everybody
Graduation.
his graduation rate. Everybody that played for Bobby Knight, they finished college.
I have a bad habit of doing that, don't I? Finishing people.
Yeah, because you don't know when to shut up, man.
No, I like this though.
Yeah,
we're tame today.
Yeah, he don't know when to shut
I'm
up.
being,
So, and then now as we move forward,
Come on.
real quick, can I just get one more, and then let's get to the business side?
go ahead.
Greatest Indiana basketball player of all time.
I'm going to answer two questions at the same time. I said Raymond Lewis for high school, but I will give it a top 5.
Okay.
Okay? You have to put Paul Pierce in there. You have to put Baron Davis in there.
Okay, so we're going back to the high school.
We have to go Chris Mills in there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put Jay Kidd. But see, you know,
J Kidd. Where did J Kidd go to high school?
St. Joe's in Northern Cal.
Okay, but Northern. I meant L.A.
Only L.A.?
Yeah. Tyson Chandler was pretty good.
He was a teammate of a young man that was like a little brother to me. I went to watch their games when I was.
Who's that?
Yeah, Micah McKinley.
Okay.
They won 2 national championships together.
Yeah.
So, greatest Indiana basketball player of all time?
Yep.
For IU?
I mean, everyone's going to say Isaiah Thomas.
Calbert Cheney was a monster.
That's what I would say. Calbert Cheney.
You got Calbert.
Because everyone says Isaiah, but Calbert Cheney.
You have the Mays. You have Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of Allen Henderson.
Number 44.
That was my teammate.
I thought Jared Jeffries would have been better than
Eric Gordon came through there and did his thing now.
Yeah.
Agreed. Now,
Eric Gordon came.
the thing about it is
right?
this is the most beautiful part of basketball. You know, in different eras, you look and you go, man, he was cold during this time, or he was really good at this time. You know why it's hard to pick one player? Like right now in L.A., there's a young man there named Jason Crow Jr. Okay, you guys have to look him up. I think he's 4th or 5th in the country for junior going to senior. He may be the next greatest basketball player. He's averaging 35 a game and will break the all-time scoring record in the state of California. And he's been averaging this since a freshman.
That's saying a lot.
Okay? And I went to a game and watched this kid play the way that he moved. You remember Kenny Anderson?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Queens,
he's
New York.
A bigger version of K.A.
Kenny Anderson was
his
he was
ability,
the first.
like his
Kenny Anderson was like the first scoring all-around point, really like the
Killer.
first all-around guy.
Killer. I learned so much from K.A. and
You
being able to
You ever
do
run
that.
into Suge Knight? Any Suge Knight stories you can
Look.
share? Because he was a great high school football athlete too. He went to Linwood.
Suge went to Linwood.
Mm-hmm.
Suge could play, and Suge went to UNLV.
Yep.
But this was the famous thing. Wherever Suge was in any club, we're going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because you knew it was going to be problems. It was automatic. And most of the time, surprisingly, you will laugh. I mean, I used to go to Midnight Summer Magic when Magic Johnson did his events. Century Club, we can just go spot after spot. Duets, all the rest of that. And the guys that were the party promoters, we still know each other, right? But the crazy thing about it, Patrick, is this. Suge had a certain type of attitude and thought process that he wanted to own L.A. That's my city. That's my place. Well, L.A. is a very big place. So you may be the king in your neighborhood,
Right.
but the king on the other side of the neighborhood, he can meet you in the middle of the street. And unfortunately, you know, people go through a lot of things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we leave Suge where Suge is.
Yeah.
Fast forward, what made you get into this thing called politics?
I told you in the beginning of the show. I mean, I came back home in 2018, and Patrick, Larry, I looked at a city that I grew up in.
But they different.
It's
different from the way you think.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm just saying. So, you know, it's like, I just say, if they're down, you're up. If they left, you're right. And, you know, if they're dark, you're light.
Right.
So it's the yin and the yang. So how, coming from there, because I can relate to it. Like,
of course.
Coming back, I left, gone forever to come back home. When I came back to Florida from Texas out of law school, my whole like philosophy and mentality, that part has completely changed. You know, even though I still understand the grit. Of
course.
I understand the hood. Like, that ain't gonna never go out of me. I get that. But as far as moving forward, like, this got to give.
Yes.
So how did you go about it? Because I know I came straight to Naples raising hell. It's like, because I was like, I don't have money like you all, but I could put y'all on any level. Y'all can't articulate issues the way I can. And I'm younger, forceful, vibrant, not afraid. What you gonna do?
Right. Right. This is what I saw. When I came off the plane, I came home. I left as a boy, a young man, and I came home a man. I came home with a fiance and 2 beautiful children, my 2 princesses. Okay. So I came home with something that I did not leave with. So I came back with the greatest things of my lifetime, right? So when I come back to LA, I've already been speaking to my fiance at that time, and now she's my wife. I'm speaking to her, telling her such great things about LA. Oh, LA is this, LA is that, LA, we have this, and oh, you're gonna enjoy this. And when I landed, I'll never forget it, LAX. We come out of the door and outside, it still looked the same as I left it. 15 years? I didn't see LA for 15 years. So literally, it was like, it jolted me. Hey, how was it the distance changed? I've been to Dubai. They've done retina scans. I've been to Qatar. I've traveled to far places, Hong Kong, before they had the airport being torn up during this last riot. I've been to Hong Kong. The airport was fantastic. So you're telling me that LA hasn't grown and it's the 4th or 5th biggest economy in the world in the state of California? And I'm looking and I'm going, what's wrong? Something's not right. Now, I get there. My aunts, everyone is excited. They haven't seen me in a long time. They're talking to me and they're like, baby, so, you know, I know you have your business, but what is it? And I was like, I prayed about it and God's put something really heavy in my spirit of getting into politics, the first thing that my aunt said was what? Oh, baby, you know who I'm going to call. I said, okay, auntie, call your friend. Who's my aunt's best friend? Maxine Waters. So she calls Maxine. Maxine says, bring him down to the, I, of course, put on my best suit that I had. I had a little different suit than this and put on a tie. And I walk in and she's like, oh, this is your nephew? Okay. Oh, can you do this? Yes. And can you do this? Yes. All right, well, we'll go ahead and see what you can do. Now, she's not speaking about the financial portion. She's talking about, well, let's see what you can do. So I'm new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a Democrat when I got off the plane. I was in the office, and I'll never forget it. A gentleman came in. He was a former veteran. He's actually a veteran. And they were paying these people. You know, when you volunteer, there's a certain amount of money. You know all this stuff that comes, and you can pay certain volunteers for it. How much did she pay the veteran volunteers per hour? How much do you think?
Talking about Maxine Waters?
Mm-hmm. How much?
$10?
Great answer.
$6.25.
$1.47.
Mm.
When she did that, I sat back. I began to look at certain things from a certain perspective from the time I was gone. My thought process had changed. You said it, that you had grown and matured.
Mm-hmm.
And the maturity that you have at that time, it's an eye-opening experience. You've indulged in certain things. You've ate in certain places. You've spoken to certain types of people, right? So I turn around and I'm like, man, God, why is it's like a rumble in my stomach? Like something's not right. And I'm like, I prayed, I got down on my knees and I said, Lord, I have to check out. A friend of mine, we were in a mutual car together. And when I say this name, everyone's like, and I'm like, yeah. He turns to me and he asks me a question, and I'll say the name last. He goes, so tell me about what you feel about this election. It was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm talking. It's 2018 to 19 as we're talking about this. And I broke down Kamala Harris, Buttigieg, Joe Biden. I broke down every candidate that was a Democrat. And he just freaked out. He went, whoa, 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 whoa. You didn't say anything about Trump. And I went, there's nothing bad I can say about President Trump. His eyes got huge. He's like, are you Republican? I said, well, you know, on the grounds of L.A. incrimination, I'm still a registered Democrat. I said, but he's a president that has done some great things. He goes, so why don't you become Republican? I said, living in L.A., it could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me, he said, I'll never forget it, and I always thank him for it. He said, Robert, you've been afraid of nothing your whole life. And when he said that, I said, God, I got my answer. You guys know who Joe Farrell is? Joe Farrell was the first person to do a campaign fundraiser at his house in the Hamptons for Donald Trump.
Interesting.
And we were in the same car at the same time. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got to do it, God. And that's what pushed me over into the Republican Party. It took 3.5 months for me to get a phone call back from LA GOP because unfortunately at that time they were unorganized.
Mm-hmm.
I had to call up to Northern California for them to call down to Southern California, for them to call me back. And every time I was speaking to someone said, are you running for a position or an office? And I'm like, no. And they're like, you're more qualified than the people who are running. And I'm like, everything comes in time and season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rush into anything.
Speaking of that, the GOP, y'all got a new chairwoman out there.
Sure did. Corinne Rankin, congratulations.
She almost looked like y'all y'all have the same skin complexion.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations to Corinne Rankin.
That's my girl. She
Yeah.
cool.
She's
Congratulations, Corinne.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm excited to see
I
because
was shocked.
Really?
Not like, but she couldn't do the work and everything else. It's just, it's just
The
it is what
politics
it
of
is.
politics.
The politics is the politics, and it being a woman. So it's like
Corinne, one thing I can say about Corinne Rankin, she's a studier.
she is.
She studies everything so that she clears the path for her success. She was the vice chair under Jessica Patterson. Okay. And Jessica did fantastic work for the state of California. She worked extremely hard. That's my girl. I have nothing bad to say about her. So Corinne, being her vice, learned everything that Jessica did, and now she can take it and work on improving it.
I know you have worked on several campaigns. Is there any campaign that you wish you didn't work on or had some, you don't have to say no names or anything else like that, but you kind of wish that you would have probably fell back if there is one?
I can tell you guys this. I don't like to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see how I am when a KO's name comes up, Kevin Ali or Tito, and you challenge me in basketball. I'm like, even to this day, I'm like, they don't
challenge that
right now. Like,
I challenge that right now. I like myself.
You see what I'm saying?
I like me. So I love me.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, back in the day, Kevin Ali, you can call him on the phone. Kevin be like, well, me and Rob will go head to head, right? And KO gave me my tickets to the NBA Finals 2001 when Allen Iverson stepped over Ty Lue.
Yeah.
I was at that game, and he gave me my tickets to go when the Lakers beat the Sixers. He gave me my ticket. It wasn't a Laker who gave it to me. That's why, to this day, I do have nothing but love for Kevin Ali.
What college did Kevin Ali go to?
Man, nobody care about no UConn, man.
Is that where are you a UConn fan?
You can say that.
I know the way you keep.
Champs.
But did you hear what happened with Danny?
I saw that.
Okay,
I saw.
I mean, hey, I'm not mad at UConn.
Speaking of being just competitive,
no, have you ever seen his father coach?
Oh yeah, was it St. Anthony's?
Now let me tell you a story about that. We're playing St. Anthony's because we played Lincoln. I'm gonna get right back to your question. We played Lincoln and San Diego. We beat them. They're the local best team, Southern California at that time. We beat the number 1 team. We beat the number 2 team from Wisconsin. Now we're in the quarterfinals, and we're playing St. Anthony. We're beating St. Anthony by 6 points. And my senior year, our tallest guy was 6'7", but we could all play. We could, okay. Long story short, Coach Anthony crossed his arms and went. He did some type of whistle that he did, and the whole team looked. He said, if you lose, we're having practice after the game.
He reminds me of Bobby Knight. He reminds me of the high school.
Man, listen. When he said that, this team started picking up full court. They ran a 2-2-1 zone. I don't know what and the ball just seemed like it was disappearing. I was throwing it to my teammates, trying to get, because they were doubling me. I'm getting to my teammates. It was like hot potato. They ended up beating us by 15.
And then real quick, we're going to have to wrap up here. Sure, we might have to do a part 2 because I want to get to your business end of it before we go to. We're going to play a little rapid fire where you got to pick one or the other. You pick both, we'll call you a Democrat.
Love it.
So, we'll call you Maxine Waters.
Wow. Okay, that's how you're going to do me?
Hey,
you could. Okay.
We'll see how you do. Definitely L.A. theme.
Love it.
Tams or Fat Burger?
Fat Burger.
Pink's or In-N-Out?
In-N-Out.
Roscoe's or My 2 Cents?
Mike's. No, excuse me. Skulls.
Okay. Ruthless Records or Death Row Records?
Death Row.
Okay. Chronic or Doggy Style?
Chronic.
Cube or Pac?
Shouts out to Cube.
That's a tough one.
Nah, because Cube is the original LA guy.
Yeah. Well,
that's why.
First, Cube did so much for Pac. He did so much for Pac.
And they didn't like each other. They had kind of a Cold War.
Period.
Yeah.
And Cube is still doing it to this day.
How about better actor, Ice Cube or Tupac?
Tupac.
Really? Okay.
Tupac told you in every song, if you need a gangster, I'll be a gangster.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to be a lover, I'll be a lover. Tupac was the greatest hip-hop actor of all time.
I said that at one of the recent shows. I mean, look at the roles from Poetic Justice to Juice, how diversified.
Gridlock.
Everything.
Above the Rim.
Everything.
I really want to get your opinion on this one, and whatever he says goes on this one because we've been having this debate. Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society? It's going to be an LA guy answering it, so.
Yeah.
Because we've had a big debate about this one.
I'm biased to Boys in the Hood because it was filmed in right on our streets.
Okay.
But there's no but.
Okay.
I'm biased to Boys in the Hood.
I agree with you.
Filmed on the streets.
Because he put the emphasis
Yes.
on bias.
I said that. Clear. Boys in the Hood.
So you're going with Boys in the Hood.
I'm going with Boys in the Hood because it was simply, but Menace to Society as a movie, of course it outsold it.
Outsold it as far as what?
In the capacity, like even the soundtrack.
Hold on. You're telling me Menace to Society did more in the box office than Boys in the Hood? No way.
No. In the soundtrack and sales. Check the sales.
The
soundtrack was amazing.
But Boys in the Hood didn't really have a soundtrack. They used old songs, and Menace
Exactly.
Society had MC8.
Thank
and,
you.
know,
So I'm going Boys in the Hood because it was filmed on our streets.
I think Boys in the Hood overall as a movie was better. I mean, they're both classics.
Do you remember the scene where they had the gunshots?
It was real.
That was 5 blocks from my house.
It was real too. They said
when you speak about Tupac and his acting, Tupac couldn't walk down our street without asking for permission. He had to ask.
So, he knew the culture, right? And that's what
he had to ask.
They did that with Training Day too.
He shouldn't
that
have.
Was Training Day was filmed
Imperial Projects.
Straight down Imperial Projects, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you go straight down straight down King, you get to Crenshaw, and you go 7 blocks. That was filmed right to the. I can take you to the spot.
Speaking of what, I was going to ask you, Training Day or Heat to L.A.
Oh, Training Day, easy.
Those are two good movies. How about MC8 or Mac 10?
8.
Okay.
I had to do that with pure caution because Mac is still a good dude, but 8.
Okay.
And you guys will understand why. They'll understand why.
Yeah, but Mac's that dude from what I hear. And then
don't stop now. I like this.
No, I know. And like I said, we got to bring you back on because we need more time with you. California's had a lot of bad governors. Can you point to one that was a good governor and then who was the worst?
Okay, let's walk through this. The state of California has 4 families that have been in control of that state for the last 6
Jared
years.
Brown, right?
1, Pelosi.
Yeah.
It's Brown, Pelosi, Newsom, and the Getty family.
Yeah.
Okay. Those 4 families have had a strict hold on that state 60 years. You know who Gavin Newsom's aunt is?
I don't actually.
Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Nancy Pelosi.
I
And
know his ex-wife.
Brown is also marriage of that family. And the Getty family is the money arm of their.
Okay. So it's basically an empire and,
That's the only way that California will break the monotony and change is someone outside of their general circle becoming the governor of that state. Is it going to be difficult? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But California, we can say, and I just said this as we were coming here, Donald Trump did something that no other president has ever done. In all 50 states, the red and the Republican Party increased in votes for the first time in history.
Yeah, I saw that.
Including California.
Yeah.
37% of California is now voting Republican.
You think California?
No, they're not voting Republican.
Do you think California could be red in 2028?
They voted Donald Trump.
Yes.
It's a difference. And I'm constantly telling the Republican chairman,
that's true.
They're not voting for the Republican Party.
Agreed.
Because people, we love Trump.
Yes, it's true.
And that's what's going to be a problem in the next 3 years if they don't get it right.
The thing, and I'm with you 100% on that. I would love to come back on so we can continue.
Please.
The biggest thing that we can do to solidify the growth of the party is let others understand who it's. You know the famous phrase of who, what, where, why, when, how, and the result? Okay. The 5 W's, how, and result. It establishes a relationship. We have to establish relationships.
Absolutely.
And that is the thing that is going to allow it to be open.
Yeah, the ground game.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And then real quick, and anything you want to promote, any of your businesses that
you know what I want to promote most?
Yeah.
I really want to promote you two. I want to thank you two.
Thank you. I wish
I've watched the podcast. Larry flips up and you guys changed up. So you had me come with business attire and all of a sudden everyone is relaxed. I want to relax on the next show. Okay. So can I come in a sweatshirt and relax?
Man, this thing is uncensored.
This is what I want.
Uncensored.
That's what I want to hear. So
because I know I have to be booted and suited and booted. So it's like in the next few. So I'm like, let me just dress down real.
I love it. See, I will promote this.
Yes.
Having the opportunity to be involved with business, there's specific things that you want to promote.
Mm-hmm.
I want to promote into communities. whether they are wealthy or not wealthy. I want to promote those individuals to be able to grow, to become great people.
And you work in cybersecurity, and you told me an
Yes.
interesting stat about cybersecurity. You want to share that?
Sure. Since 2000, statistically, there's 0.03% of that industry that is African American, Black American. And I'm so blessed, and I've been so thankful to be in that community, to be a partner and business owner in that community. Brett is absolutely amazing. And we've been able to have extreme success in the community, not only because it's the cultural diversity within our own company. AZCWR, you can go to that, azcwr.org. You can also go to livesquare.com. Both of those are connected, and we've been able to grow, do a lot from the DLJ to the DOD.
And real quick, in like 60 seconds or less, it's probably going to be hard to do, but describe, what is cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity is this. I simplify things. I'm the business operational guy. So watch this. If you open up your phone, there's something protecting your phone from others seeing what's in your phone. And what you don't see is someone that has pushed a keyboard that stops others from looking at what you have in your phone. That is cybersecurity. It is those who are behind, and then they're doing encryption, protection, allowing you to feel safe. Now, cybersecurity also is like Crips and Bloods in basketball. There's an offense and a defense. There's a blue team and a red team. So offensively, we're attacking China. Defensively, the red team is defending America. Mm-hmm. So you have to know both sides of cybersecurity, and you put together a great team to win.
You know, I find when I have a conversation about something, the phone picks up on stuff and all of a sudden get ads about random things. Are they listening to us on our phones?
The answer is absolutely 100 and unequivocally yes. So I can say this. If you want to have a conversation, mm-hmm. You know how generally you look at your child and you go, can you step out of the room, baby? I need to have a conversation with Uncle Larry. Well, you need to exclude your other baby also.
Interesting.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And is Android or iPhone safer than the other? Because I've heard people make the argument Android's safe. Yeah.
Android.
What? I didn't say any names.
You could have gone ahead and said Larry. Yes, Larry's saying
you weren't the only one.
Larry's saying I'm going with the droid.
Your partner said the same thing.
I can tell you this. Android is statistically more safe than iPhone. There are certain companies, shouts out to Elon Musk, he won't even allow an iPhone inside of any building.
Interesting.
And it's a reason for that, and we'll talk about it after the show.
I think Larry tore his rotator cuff. So
this thing been killing me.
What'd you do now? I saw you over there rubbing it.
It's just been acting up for these last couple months, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm supposed to go back on.
Too much driving.
Probably.
Yeah.
I got to go back on, though.
And you know what it is? It's the way you're sleeping.
I know.
That's it. Do you sleep this way or on the side?
Man, I sleep all type of ways. But I usually sleep just straight up because I got my CPAP. I got my CPAP. But it just has started flaring up, man, like for the last couple months.
For old football injury?
No, this one here, it happened in the Utah jail. I was on assignment.
I got you.
We got to let D get ready for the next show.
They shaved it down for me and then stitched me up. Got it.
Pleasure having you on.
Patrick, it's my pleasure.
Back.
I'm looking forward to coming back.
Absolutely.
This is exciting.
Next time we'll tell you 9:30, but we'll plan for 10.
Listen,
when you're on that
please,
time.
Please forgive me.
That's okay.
That one lane killed us, and I really want to get back.
I just wanted more time. But
I have a question.
Shoot.
If we can extend it, if you want me to pay the extra time, I'll do that.
It's not even that. There's someone coming in right after us. Yeah.
You see, but this is how friends should be.
I appreciate that.
I'll put that money down for that.
Okay. Respect that, but
sure.
we'll definitely get you back on and maybe show them maybe we'll set up when you are on the cover of the magazine or the next launch party that we do for City Lifestyle. We do an after hours podcast.
I would love it.
All right, thank you.
No, thank you.
Until
it's
next
been a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine.
Oh man,
quick pick.